What is up, guys? Thank you so much for being here. So today I just wanted to do a quick video giving a couple of tips for attaching like a rail segment or any accessory to a key mod or M-lock handguard. So I've got my down defense rifle right here. I'm going to be putting on this little rail segment. It's a Haley Strategic Thorntail so that I can put on this flashlight. So the tips are pretty simple, but I feel like they're really essential to just making sure that the item that you put on is not going to move on you and it's not going to come loose or anything like that. All right, we've got everything we need to do the install. I've got this, it's called the Fat Wrench. It's a Wheeler wrench that's adjustable, like a little torque wrench that you can adjust how much weight. And so I also have a little bit of blue Loctite. And as you can see, it says removable. That's the reason that I get the blue Loctite, because you don't want it to stay on there forever, obviously. Or maybe you do, I don't know. But it's just a good idea to use the blue Loctite for this kind of stuff because it's still very tight and it helps just give that extra strength on there. So like I said, it won't come off after a few hundred rounds or whatever. But you'll still be able to take it off if you need to. And real quick before we get started, if you're interested in getting any of the things I'm going to attach to the gun or any of the tools that I'm using, then I'll put links in the description down below. That way all you have to do is click on one of the links and it'll take you straight to that item, so that way you can get it. And it's just there for convenience, but it also helps out my channel because I'll get a small percentage from Amazon at no cost to you, so I would really appreciate that. But let's just go ahead and jump right in. I've got this Thorntail here, that's what they call it, by Haley Strategic. And it's a pretty cool, neat, very lightweight, and what I've heard to be just a good little rail segment for attaching flashlights. So depending on what you're attaching to your key mod or M-lock, in this case, this is a key mod rifle, but your hardware might be different depending on the accessory you're putting on. It's pretty common for them to have something that goes in through the bottom, like a small thing that would hold the threads, and then the little screw would go in through the top and screw into the little thing that you stuck in through the bottom. In this one, it's actually pretty innovative sort of, because you don't have like two pieces that attach to each other through the rail or whatever. You have one piece that kind of goes in and it screws in counterclockwise when you're putting it in through the bottom. And it's cool because, like I mentioned, there's no screw that goes into that piece. You just tighten down that piece through the top with your hex wrench. Let me see if I can show you. I don't know if you'll be able to see. The hex wrench will just go right in to that, so there's no additional screw, because through the top you're just going to tighten it. You don't need very much. In fact, you need very little. And I just kind of apply it straight to the threads. Whoa. Well, so much for not needing very much. Okay, so I got some of that excess wiped off. I'm just gonna I've got so much on this thing that I'm just gonna rub some of it onto the threads. So as you can see, there's some on there, and you don't have to get it all the way around because it'll kind of spread around as you screw it in. Okay, I got that one started. And you don't need to make it like super tight right now. In fact, you just barely want to get it started so that you have that gap between there. All right, I've got Loctite on both of them, and I got them both started just enough to where there's still plenty of space to slide it in. I'm gonna go ahead and put that into the groove that I wanted. So once it's in there, you want to make sure you push it all the way forward as much as possible. So depending on what your accessory, the little instructions on it says, you're going to want to adjust that to that torque level. For this one, it was kind of interesting because it didn't say like 10 or 15 or 20 pounds, inch-pounds of torque. It just said hand tighten it and then tighten it another half turn. So that's what I'm going to do. So basically the two main tips when it comes to installing this or pretty much any accessory is pushing it all the way forward like we did and using some Loctite. And that'll really help keep it from shifting on you or coming loose. I'm gonna set this to I don't know, somewhere between 15 and 20 pounds of force. That should be about a half turn. Let's see here. Oh yeah, that wasn't even quite a half turn. So I'm gonna turn this up to 20 inch-pounds since they didn't specify. And I'm not even getting a half turn out of 15. So, okay, so that's on there. That shouldn't be going anywhere. It feels super snug. It's pushed all the way forward. And then if you're curious how this thing attaches, this flashlight, it's actually super simple, which is part of why I like it. You unscrew this little screw right here, and then this part, as you can see, it kind of flexes open. So you kind of squeeze on it right here and it opens up the bottom. It's got the bar that goes across right there. So obviously I just pick a groove because there's two options right here. I don't want it to get in the all the way up to my flash hider because I don't want it getting any blast on it. And so I'm gonna put it, I think right here is good. That'll put it just like, you probably can't even tell, but like a centimeter past the handguard, but a good ½ inch away, or maybe even an inch away from the flash hider there, so I don't have to worry about it getting blast on there. There we go. That's on there, and it's got that tension, and then I can screw that down. And this part, it can just be hand tight. It doesn't have to be like tightened with a wrench or anything, because it has tension as it is. And once again, it's a flashlight, so it doesn't have to be super accurate or anything like that. This isn't a laser, this isn't a scope. Anyways, the rail system's not going anywhere, and the flashlight itself is on there very snug. So that's it, guys. It's on there. It's in the perfect spot for me. And once it fully cures, the Loctite, it's not gonna go anywhere. The Loctite says it only takes 20 minutes to set and then 24 hours to fully cure. Basically, you just don't wanna mess with it for the first 24 hours. So obviously this video was geared more towards beginners, or maybe you've just never attached like an accessory or a little rail segment to your handguard and you just wanted to make sure you weren't missing out on any special tips. So yeah, hopefully this was helpful for you. Definitely use the Loctite unless the accessory specifically says not to, because there are like some quick detach mounts and other things that'll say to not use Loctite. And also never forget to push everything all the way forward, including things that go on the Picatinny rail up top. You always want to push it forward, and the reason you do that is because when you shoot the gun itself wants to move back, and anything that's attached to the gun, because of momentum, obviously, it wants to move forward. So the gun's going back and the accessory wants to kind of stay there. So it basically moves forward. And so to avoid getting any shift, you want to just move it as far forward as you can to begin with. When it comes to like being in that specific groove, just a little bit of wiggle that you'll get, make sure it's to the front of that groove. Hopefully that was helpful. Subscribe if you're not already, because I do a lot of gun content on here, but also other things, not just like gun reviews, but also like backpack reviews and any other kind of gear like that. And go ahead and hit the like button, because it's a super small, simple thing that you can do that really helps out my channel, so I would appreciate that. And thanks again for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.